But they don't look like me. They don't talk like me. But they don't look like me. And they don't talk like me. But they don't look like me. And they don't talk like me.
Welcome back to the Comic Shop. As always, I'm your host, Eugene Capon with
Pat Mest, glad to have you back. Hope you enjoyed the little break. Get a little snack, maybe a sundae, perhaps.
That was
a couple
such
hot dogs.
That was a delicious Sunday.
Oh wait, that's what we had. Yes.
Yeah.
A couple of hot dogs. It was delicious. Thank you.
Did a little bit of lunch. We decided to record a little bit earlier in the day today. Usually we're kind of night birds when we do this, but we had a nice little after 4th leftovers lunch.
Could one call it perhaps we had a little afternoon delight, sir?
I know I did.
Because it is the afternoon time, and I'm feeling delightful. So I know there's other interpretations of the phrase, but I'm feeling delightful, and it's the afternoon. So thank you, good sir. I thank you.
I'm just afraid I'm going to start feeling a little sick later because I downed that Sunday, and I'm allergic to milk.
You did work on it, that's for sure. I looked away,
I'm
and all of a sudden it was like half gone.
Oh, yeah.
It was nice.
I down that food. I'm like the bottomless pit. You can put food in front of me, turn around, and it will be gone.
That sounds like a dare, good sir. We might have to do a short little video and test this theory.
See how
I'm
much,
a curious man by nature.
See how much food Eugene can eat.
I'm just saying. And if you puke, I'm sure that's worth at least a few more views on the YouTube page. Are you okay with that? Will you do it for views?
I will do it for views.
Not money. Not money. Hey,
I'll do it for views.
Hey, money is messy. It's very messy.
If you think I should do it, put a comment or like the video.
Awesome. I like it. Speaking of things getting messy, if you got 75 supervillains breaking out of a maximum prison, that is super messy, and that is exactly what the Avengers had to deal with. Next up, we're going to talk about the Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes cartoon that's currently on Disney XD, and I want to thank you for being the one to introduce me to it. I had no idea about this cartoon, and you were the one that let me know about it.
You know what, that
I followed
actually
up very quickly.
That kind of surprised me that you had never heard of it before.
No, I
knowing
mean,
that you're usually the one in the know before I do. You know, I'm just usually the guy in the back doing all the production work.
Well, I haven't watched a lot of the more recent cartoons. I think the last one that I kind of watched was Justice League, and I think that was like 02, 03-ish around then. Was when that one was on. So that's kind of the
06.
It was 06, or was that Justice League Unlimited?
I don't know. We can look it up later.
But yeah, so it's been a while since I've been into a more recent cartoon. So thank you, good sir. It's been a lot of fun.
Pleasure.
A lot of fun catching up. So season 1 recently ended, so we thought it'd be fun to just kind of talk about our feelings about it and kind of review and just discuss it in general.
Do you want to do a breakdown of the characters first?
I want to give the quick, brief synopsis. So essentially, the 75 villains break out of this super prison in episode 1, built by Mr. Hank Pym, Ant-Man / Giant Man. And so they spend a lot of season 1 dealing with that, trying to round up and catch these super villains. And then there are some other villains that show up and kind of complicate things. And then near the end of season 1, we find out that there is a villain that has been pulling the strings all along in the darkness. Should we share that, or do we want to save it in case people haven't watched it yet? I don't want to give away too much.
You can share it.
Okay, it's Loki. It's always Loki, the god of mischief, pulling the strings in the darkness. And we don't really see him until the last, maybe within that last 3 or 4 episode window at the end of season 1.
Thank you, Masters of Evil.
Yes, Masters of Evil. So yeah, let's talk about what did you think of the Iron Man character? How he's portrayed?
You know what? I expected him to be a little bit more of a dick.
I think it's hard to pull off some of Tony Stark's characteristics on a kid's cartoon. You can't really show him womanizing or boozing it up, and those are kind of 2 big parts of him. So,
well, you have Pepper Potts running around.
They do have a little bit of Pepper Potts. Not enough though. She's a cutie on that show.
She is.
So, but yeah, I like it. I like the look of the suit. It feels modern, but it's got the classic look, and I like the color scheme, and yeah. It looks good, and obviously Tony Stark, he's a futurist. He's all about his tech, and he's all about that.
Yeah.
So, and then on the flip side, you got Thor,
who's all very mystic and ancient.
Yeah, and that's one thing they definitely play up in there is they have a lot of back and forth between Tony and Thor.
And then you even have Captain America in there, who's modern but old school at the same time. He's kind of a middle ground.
Yeah, exactly. It works out nicely. He's a man out of time, and I like the way They stay true. You know, he's a World War II guy who gets frozen, and then they find him. Okay, the science is a little rough on that. Who cares? We're having fun. So now, how does he fit in this modern world? What does he stand for? Does he have anything to still fight for? And obviously he does, because he's Captain America.
You know what? He definitely stands out, but I feel like he's doing the best job somebody in his situation could possibly do.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't know anyone now, so I mean, he's going to be one of those guys who throws himself into his job. I mean, who does he know? The Avengers are his only friends. Everyone else he knows is dead or in a home and can barely talk and remember who they are.
Or remember who he is.
Yeah. So, and then, so those three characters are great characters. I think, obviously, everyone's more familiar with them, but some of the other characters that they got in there, Ant-Man, Giant Man, Wasp, and Hawkeye, I think were the most fun to see.
Hulk.
Well, Hulk's there, yes. Forgot about Hulk. It's hard to forget about Hulk, right? He's so big.
That's
but
right.
A lot of people are familiar with Hulk, but the other characters are a lot of fun to see. I mean, how did you feel about seeing those characters kind of for the first time really represented well?
You know what? Ant-Man was probably the greatest adaptation I've seen that hasn't really been done already. I mean, you have, you know, some of the old Fantastic Four cartoon episodes. Every once in a while you'd have Hank come in and, oh no, the Fantastic Four shrunk themselves.
Yeah,
The Ant-Man is probably the best character to kind of cameo into, help save everyone. Or, something like that. But this is the first time I've actually seen Ant-Man / Giant Man. Or I'll just call him Hank.
Yeah, we can just call him Hank.
Yeah, we'll just call him Hank. As a main character of sorts.
No, I love it. I mean, and in the comics, he was just Ant-Man at first, and then he became Giant Man. And I love that they're equally using both, depending on the situation. Sometimes when it calls for it, he goes big, he's Giant Man. And then sometimes it works out where him being Ant-Man is actually more beneficial for the situation. And Wasp, she's a cutie on the show. And
everybody loves Wasp.
Yeah.
She's the mutant party girl.
Well, and she's important because she's one of the connections that helped keep Hank involved, because he's a scientist first. He's kind of a reluctant warrior. But Jan's involvement, I think, kind of helps keep him involved, because he obviously is smitten for the lady.
Absolutely.
Oh.
You know what? I really wish they had a version of this cartoon that's more true to the comic. Like, I realize they have to kind of tone down just a lot of the characteristics that,
it's Disney
like,
XD.
Yeah, but Marvel, I guess they could do a version on like G4. Yeah, where it was...
Or like a Spike or something.
Yeah, where it was, fitting in towards the actual age of the comic book reader rather than the cartoon. And we realized that you're trying to, hop on the whole new generation of futuristic comic book readers.
Yeah.
And, we thank you for that, because you keep us in business.
Definitely. I mean, and I feel like they, the primary spirit and tone, I feel is drawing from the comics, but it's obviously they're pulling some Ultimate stuff and a little bit cinematic, and then they got to bring it down for the age group, because what Batman and X-Men did for us in the 90s, that's what they want to do for that 10-year-old out there right now, or 8-year-old. Hook 'em young, and then you end up like us, in it forever. Yeah.
Ugh.
I never plan on stop going to cons or any of that kind of stuff. Never.
Good job.
Never.
Good job, Marvel.
But yeah. And Hawkeye, I never really thought much of the Hawkeye character, but they made him a total badass on this show. Clint Barton is bringing it.
He was okay on the original Avengers cartoon.
And I can't really speak because I never saw that one, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? The other one, it seems like they had more characters. Some of the lesser, like, mainstream ones. Mm-hmm. And then they had, like, a takeoff of that where they were almost like Power Rangers for some reason.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, and then, then you have this new one, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Yeah, you gotta say that weird, like, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Yeah, it's just fun to say.
It is really fun to say. I really enjoy it. Well, and I like that he's not just shooting, like, arrows. They are in arrow form, but the tips have different capabilities based on the situation. Like, it can be an explosive, or a net, or a tear gas kind of thing.
Or a corrosive.
Yeah, or
holes in a wall.
Yeah, it just really depends on the situation, which is cool. And I feel bad for missing out on the Hulk. I mean, the big Jolly Green Giant, I don't know how you do that, so I'm off my game today. But they don't really represent the Bruce Banner a lot. Banner lets him stay in Hulk form so that he can be a positive force and fight bad guys so that people will think better of the Hulk character.
Yeah, it was.
Which
is
cool.
It was, and they did an entire episode that was just related to that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, it was
Where
fantastic.
It was like, the Hulk's in there, and Bruce is kind of like battling back and forth with his inner giant, and basically they're talking, and they come to the conclusion that Hulk, man, buddy, you can help, and he goes, if I help, will you let me stay me? And he goes, that's a deal I'm willing to make. And basically now you get Hulk all the time rather than Bruce running around trying to not turn into the Hulk.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? You don't have to be a monster, man. You can be bigger than that and better than that and help people and make a difference with your capabilities, which Hulk does very well when it comes to smashing. And I like that he makes fun of Thor, a lot. Calls him Goldilocks or Pretty Boy. He likes to pick on Thor a little bit, which is pretty fun.
Which is kind of funny because in the cartoon they're almost the same size.
Yeah, pretty much. Is there a character that you had a lesser view of that you liked better in the representation in this, and then vice versa?
What do you mean?
Was there a character I love Captain America, but you know what, I didn't really like him on this cartoon?
Black Panther. In the cartoon, he seems like kind of a pansy. But in the comic book, he's just such a badass.
Yeah, the Black Panther character, I feel like he's very, very much supporting, kind of near the bottom. He has not been that impressive to me. I mean, he's not bad, but he doesn't stand out amongst the others, for sure. No, my favorite is easily the Hank, seeing Ant-Man and Giant Man. That's my favorite, definitely. Very cool.
It's probably the better step up.
Yeah.
Minus the spousal abuse.
Yeah, they're not going to get into that on Disney XD. But it is a great, great cartoon. You can catch, I think like the first 15 episodes are available on DVD for purchase, and they do have some of them up on the website. So definitely check that out. It's a fun cartoon.
You know what we need to do this week?
Hero
and villain of the week.
Boom, boom, boom. So I guess I'm villain, so I should probably start it off.
You can start.
I feel like this one's kind of a cliche. Been in the news a lot recently, and I got to go with Casey Anthony. We don't have time to go into all the details of that particular case, but essentially she neglected her child. The kid ended up dead, and she did do some jail time and ended up getting out early, really recently this last week. I wish I could go into more. Look it up. It's a travesty, this poor child that died. So that Casey Anthony, she is my villain of the week.
Would you like to hear my hero?
Yes.
The hero?
The hero.
You know what? Over the July 4th weekend, I attended an event in Seattle.
A happening?
A very, very over-the-top happening. And it involved zombies.
Zombies, you say?
A whole town of zombies. Seattle was overrun by zombies this last weekend.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't downtown then. I don't want to die.
But
I value my life.
You know what it was for? Seattle is once again the zombie capital of the world.
Give it up.
Woo!
You could do it. You did it. Thank you.
They now have the Guinness World Record for the largest flash zombie mob. And it was a lot of fun. I met some great characters. I want to give a special thanks to the Stacks brothers for keeping it real and putting on a great show. Death Star was there. They were fantastic in their nerdcoriness. Is that even a word? Nerdcore?
It is now.
It is now.
Just like truthiness wasn't a word, but now it is, thanks to Stephen Colbert. You just started it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, once again, this has been The Comic Shop. I'm Eugene.
I'm Pat, and please check out our YouTube channel, the Facebook, and the Twitter. We got you covered on all your favorite hotspots. So, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. This is The Comic Shop.
Outro music.
Inside the system. Cuts. Inside the system. Cuts. Cuts. The connection.